Doing? Welcome to the latest episode of New Thinking About Old Pain with the Ouch Doctors. I'm Dr. Steve, and this is Dr. Tim. Super excited to see you guys today. And for those of you who aren't part of the big festivities, last week we launched our brand new product, Relief Rocket. We'll tell you a little more about that in a few minutes. But we have lots of interesting things to share and talk about today. So, Dr. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Steve, and it's good to see you. We talk on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
We haven't shared the same screen in a week now, so that's like a world record for us.
I think it is. I know. I did my Dr. Tim fix, so I'm glad I'm here with you right now. This is awesome. Let me do this to start the process rolling, because a lot of people are not necessarily aware that we've launched this incredible product called Relief Rocket, which is the fastest, safest way to blast through your pain, drug-free, and it's all about using your mind to overcome pain. And we've been exploring this in some remarkable ways. Dr. Tim, how about our visit with Jen the other day?
Incredible. That I thought that was a fantastic report back on her. She, well, I don't think we should really talk about her particular situation, but great results from our consult with the face doctor, with the relief, with the Ouch Doctors, and great response to care right off the bat.
Yeah.
This stuff works, people. This mind-body method just really works, and I'm thrilled that Dr. Steve and I have put our 75 years of expertise together and come up with kind of a 5-pronged product that is a mini course in do-it-yourself pain relieving care.
And Dr. Tim, I actually had another experience yesterday to use this work, even though we use it primarily to help people with chronic pain that's been with them for some time. The idea is that acute pain that came right along because of some immediate issue or injury, is usually pain that you're kind of stuck with for a little while, right? Generally speaking, and we feel that we need to feel pain. We need to know something's happened. People who have no perception of pain are in danger of harming themselves, right? So we know that, but at the same time, some of these techniques can be really useful even in the moment. And so luckily, I keep injuring myself in order to try this out. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I get to play with this. And yesterday, remember I got Woody a brand new ramp. I bought him a ramp so he can get in and out of the car, and it folds up. It folds in half, and you open it back up again. And I opened up his ramp, and my finger, where is it? Tell me it's almost gone. Right over here, got caught in the hinge. And I got this big, long black and blue mark on my finger right there. And I could see it coming, right? As soon as I did it, I was like, oh, this is no place for Dr. Steve. This is not going to be pleasant. That was my first thought. I said, there's a story, right? There's the story we tell ourselves. And I said, no, we're not doing that. Instead, we're saying, how interesting. Let's get some mastery over this before it even starts. Let's stop it before it starts. And I used the rapid relief formula, which we teach you in the Relief Rocket program. And about, a couple minutes later, there was no pain at all. And I've had, aside from a little tenderness, there's been virtually no pain, and the black and blue mark is pretty much gone. And this is just 24 hours. So, this is pretty powerful stuff. And our last client that we worked with had a very similar experience of getting immediate relief, but then also being able to implement a technique that we taught her. So she was able to use it herself, because ultimately we want to empower you, right? Isn't that the whole idea? That get people empowered to do this for themselves, because once you're empowered, right? If you know you have the power to change the experience of pain or the experience of anxiety, then what else are you empowered to do? What else can you do with your life?
And then success begets more success. So you get a little bit of a win, then the whole world opens up, and you can see having more and more and greater and greater and more and greater, and it's just a self-perpetuating victory dance.
Right on. That's why I love the episode we did a few weeks back. It was called Beyond Pain. we were saying, well, okay, you're hiring us as a pain coach, and we're going to work with you. And over the course of a few weeks, we're going to give you some mastery. We're going to demonstrate to you that you can stop pain in its tracks. And then, let's say an 8-week program goes by. Well, now what? Now, so I'm out of pain. Is that all there is? No, that's not all there is. That's the beginning of a journey, because we've just dismantled one of the major obstacles to your ability to succeed, which is your belief that externals have a lasting impact on you. You are the victim of your pain, your anxiety, your depression, your whatever it is. No, that's not true. We could help you go wherever you want to go.
Or you're a victim of any external negative influence.
That's right. So very cool, very powerful stuff. I'm super excited. And I had this idea, Dr. Tim, that I wanted to share today, because I was walking with Woody yesterday. And actually, I think this was in the wake of the finger episode. It could have been another one. I know I'm always doing something to myself, but I think it was the finger episode. And I was walking, and and you know how I'm always looking to reframe the way I describe the process to myself, or the way I describe it to others. And somehow I came around to the Serenity Prayer. And most people have heard the Serenity Prayer. If you're in any kind of a 12-step program, you know exactly what I'm talking about, which is basically, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, everything in life applies to that Serenity Prayer, or the Serenity Prayer applies to everything in life. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That's what the mindfulness process is. I'm just being non-judgmentally aware of what I'm experiencing, right? That's serenity. The courage to change the things I can. Well, there are certain things I actually have some power over, and I'm not just going to sit around and let the world roll over me if I can do something about something.
Right.
But also the wisdom to know the difference, meaning, do I fight battles that aren't meant to be fought, or do I accept? So when do I accept, and when do I fight back, so to speak? And I realize when it comes to pain, when it comes to a lot of things in life, the problem is that we don't have the serenity to back off and just accept it. But when it comes to pain, often it's the other way around. Often it's that we don't have the wisdom to realize that we can fight it, right? The wisdom in that case is the wisdom to recognize that you do possess the power to change something. I mean, it's mind-boggling, right? So I had the wisdom in that moment to say, oh, I have the courage to change the things I can. I'm going to apply my mind to the act of changing my perception of pain and inflammation about this thing I'm having right now, rather than simply accepting it, right?
No disrespect if you don't know that there's a mind-body connection and you play a role with your pain. No disrespect, because most people don't know. There's many doctors that don't know.
Right.
However, that's changing. I just read something that said that 80%, the AMA says that up to 80% of all health conditions have a mind-body component. That was a mind blower by the American Medical Association.
Wow.
Also, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, also said that they stated it might even be 100%. That there's an emotional or a mental component to every disease and condition that's out there. That's a mind blower. So it's getting more mainstream. So no disrespect if you didn't know this before, but we're here to kind of change the paradigm and get this out there. So back to you, Dr. Steve.
Yeah, well, a lot of that has to do with the politics of medicine and the predominant thinking around intervention and care. Thankfully, there are people like Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, who comes from a very strong scientific background, a geneticist, a professor, one of the pioneers in our understanding of the way that the way genetics works. He's one of the people who made us realize that you're not just stuck with the genetic expression that you were born with. It's not like, well, these are my genes and therefore this is the way I need to live, and I'm doomed to have all of the diseases that come from this particular genetic code. No, because the proteins that your body is creating from the genes, from the limited number of genes you have, we've only got 23, right? So the limited number of genes you have are not enough to produce every variation of proteins that exist in your body. The proteins have to be formed and reformed and changed and reshaped based on the environment. And a big part of the environment is your thinking. Your thinking becomes an environment unto itself. Your thoughts create electromagnetic fields, they create neurological fields, they create chemical fields, chemical influences that then change the proteins in your body. So now Lipton has been saying this for a long time. He says over the course of our history, we used to believe that, what we had to do what the church told us to do, which was you don't look inside the body.
No.
Because it's all, it's all God. You start looking inside, it's sacrilege. And then when, the Protestant Reformation happened, and along with it came the scientists who started looking inside the body and looking at other things. Well, then the next incarnation of healthcare was it's a machine, it's a mechanism. If you A plus B equals C, and it's all very mechanical, and therefore every protein has to come from a specific gene. And this whole mechanical concept is what conventional medicine is all about. Whereas holistic medicine,
it's all about that. Yeah.
Right. Is now we begin to realize, no, there's energy. There are outside influences. The mind actually is something. Thoughts are things. And all of these things have an impact on your health.
Right. Incredible. Yeah. And Dr. Bruce Lipton is just an all around great guy and a great human being too. So super awesome. Yeah. Glad you brought that up. And to put that a different way, it's how we live our life physically in regards to our body, our chemistry, our nutrition, and most importantly, our headspace that determines what kind of a human we are and what our level of health is. So it's how we live our life rather than your genetics or some kind of bill of goods that you believe about yourself is what counts. That's so fascinating.
And, you brought something up in one of your solo broadcasts the other day where you're talking about how people, who end up running into walls they've created for themselves, that they will use any excuse possible to keep their lives being the same. I don't want to change. And so I'll justify that I don't want to change by saying I can't change. And well, what do you mean you can't change? Well, these are, my parents had it, I'm going to have it too. Or I can't, like you said, I can't even get out of bed, or whatever the excuses we're using to keep us from embracing the idea that we've got this incredibly malleable, flexible system at our disposal. And you absolutely can change. You absolutely can control pain and emotion and all sorts of other things when you find the key, when you learn the key. That's what we're all about, is giving you the key to the mechanism, so to speak. Right.
And that occurred to me yesterday. You were meditating about the Serenity Prayer yesterday and the relationship between that and the Relief Rocket and Mind Body Healthcare.
Right.
I was just hanging around. I had just come off a coaching session yesterday, and a woman had two brick walls that was evident to me, not evident to her. And that one, she could not conceive of drinking water. She hated water, hates water. So, and not only that, she doesn't like any liquid except for soda. So this is a mind blower for me. And the more we kind of spoke about it in a kind fashion, it became more and more evident that she was not going to drink any water. It was disgusting to her. And this woman's, kind of bordering on kidney disease as a result of this. But no medical information could get through. No, I wasn't about to play the fear card, but it just really blew my mind that somebody wouldn't be willing to take even a tiny little step that is generally accepted to be healthy. And I've seen other examples of that too. For example, one person was like, I can't go outside and go for a walk. I can't do my moving meditation outside. I have to do it somewhere else because it's cold outside. And now it's winter. So what she's saying, the story is that it's unsafe for her to be in cold weather for the next 8 or 9 months. And there was no amount of discussion about that we got to a point where we got that resolved. So I thought, what is it about people putting up these stone walls to slam against and kind of halt their progression? What is it about that? And then I realized we're all trying to self-protect ourselves, and then we tell our stories and we weave these stories of why something is not happening, why we're not as healthy as we want to be. And sometimes we blame others. and anybody except for ourselves. And it's all self-protection. But part of coaching is to expose those brick walls or those running into the tree, however you want to describe it, and then kind of educating about the fallacy of those, which I'm still confident that I can do with both of these folks, and go by it so they can progress onto healing.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful stuff, man. Because that is ultimately the challenge of any of us who are mentors, coaches, teachers, parents. We know that there are things that others could or should embrace that would impact their lives in a positive way, but people are protected by what I call their hypnotic trance. I feel like we all have invisible walls. We've been, we've convinced ourselves, because at one point we were convinced by others when we were unable to know any better or think, push back against it, that this is the way it is, or this is the way it should be. And then we just never question it again. And so, as you said, the art of being a coach, and for me, a lot of this is hypnotic, right? A lot of this is, how do I unhypnotize you?
Right.
So that this thing that you're allowing yourself to believe, despite all evidence to the contrary, can be set aside. Water is not disgusting, right? Cold is not going to kill you. These are all these are things that they seep into us. And I know for me, cold is a great example, as it's now beginning to get colder outside here in the Northeast. Because, for a lot of people who are watching this all over the country, all over the world, really, we're coming up on that time of year where it's getting chilly. And it's easy to start bundling up and tensing up and feeling like I've got to push this thing away because it's bad. And who told you that? To me, it's like, that's what grandma and grandpa used to say. Inside, or you'll catch your death of cold, the death of cold.
Which is not the way it happens. Nobody's ever died of cold weather. Well, let's not say that.
No. Yeah, I mean, not the cold we're talking. No, so like here, let's say it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is that in centigrade? That's like, I forgot how to do this. It's like twice as much plus 10 or something like that, or plus 2.
Formula. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. So maybe we're talking about 15 degrees or something like that, centigrade. Whatever it is, it's not death-defying cold. But because we're so programmed to believe cold is bad, any little bit of it, we've got to push it away. So like today, I went for a walk. I was telling you, I went out with Dr. Aaron, who will be a guest of ours one of these days, and I purposely underdressed. Right, I have this because it's one of those, but. And I had on a little jacket, but I didn't wear a hat, and I wasn't all bundled up, and I wasn't tensing up. And I could feel the tendency that, my mind wants to, fight up against this, tense up. But we've got to practice embracing the things that we're automatically, by default, pushing away.
Right. And
like
the hard
water.
part identifying those. And one thing, Dr. Steve, that I am thrilled with our little partnership that you and I have, because we're coming from a little different place. And with our 8-week coaching course, the Unstoppable program, I love how, we do 2 weeks of that together. And then we do 3 weeks with you, because you have the hypnotism background. You're working on some different aspects there. I'm the neuroplasticity, the fun with pain guy. So between the two of us, how awesome is that? Because, we're both mind-body experts. We both have a ton of experience with that. But we have a little bit of a different avenue that together is going to synergize, and that's how we help our clients the best way.
I love the synergy. Both of us have individually done a lot of work in this area, and we've done some of it together as well. And now as we start to take on like long-term clients, and we start doing that, we'll do some work in the area of hypnosis or mindfulness. I call mindful hypnosis. They're kind of put together in a strategic way. And then you're doing a lot of the knowledge therapy and cognitive stuff, and then back and forth, and then kind of bringing it all together. There are so many tools, so many strategies. Like we're talking about 12 overarching processes over the course of this 8-week period. But any one of those processes might have multiple elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, let's say the Wim Hof method, right? Well, we might do some breathing methodologies, some cold exposure methodologies. and when you start looking at the breadth of knowledge and the breadth of tools at our disposal, we're empowering people to a great extent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fantastic stuff. Yeah.
Can I show this picture again? I love this picture. This is this one right here. Yeah, so this is kind of a mock-up of some of what our course is about. The Relief Rocket program is a 5-module program, and we go over the rapid relief formula. We go over the no-cry list, which is avoiding foods that are inflammatory. We show you what they are and what to get. We talk about, we do a guided meditation to help you dissipate stress and tension and pain. We have a little game we play together. And finally, we teach you how to hypnotize yourself and help guide you in creating your own self-hypnosis script and audio with music that you can listen to again and again. So it's a pretty exciting process.
Which is how to be an astronaut, really.
You're your own astronaut. You're blasting yourself off into to blast off to Planet Relief.
Right. And the Relief Rocket product, it's just a mini course.
Yeah.
Not just a mini course, but it's an awesome mini course, and it's kind of a prerequisite for those who are interested in our longer term, our 8-week program, or maybe even our year-long program that we do together. So,
well, what I like about that is a lot of people are unwilling to commit to something unless they can see that there's a value in it, right? And so one of the things I always loved about being a chiropractor was that people would come into the office, as you know, with long-term problems. And often you would do something that took place, you were delivering the adjustment in a matter of moments, right? And there'd be a sudden change in their experience. It happened a lot, right? I've had migraine headaches that never go away for the last 20 years. Okay, come on in here. Oh my God, and you'd have these magical moments. Now, it doesn't mean that we've solved the problem for one and all and for good, forever, but it means that we've proven that some small change can produce a major effect. And that's what Relief Rocket is. It's a small change that will produce a major effect and will point the way to a new way of thinking. And then we get to be your guides, if you choose to let us be, to take you further down that road and empower you to do what you need to do, or what we believe is in your best interest, to stay clear of the victim mentality that tends to wrap itself around most of our healthcare choices.
Right. And not going to lie, it takes courage to invest in a program like this. Granted, it's only $37 for the Relief Rocket, so that's minimal. And just like Dr. Steve said, we don't want to set up big barriers to that. So you'll get some wins with that, but you'll start to look differently at your life and the little stories that you've told yourself, perhaps. And it does take courage to look in that direction. And so that's one of the most important attributes, is just having that self-generating courage to look in the mirror at the person in the mirror and say, you know what? I can be better than this. I can evolve from this. This pain I'm not willing to have this in my life anymore. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, look wherever I have to look, to minimize it myself. Because I know that the answer is not more drugs, more doctors, more devices, right, more deductibles, and blah, blah, blah. So.
Awesome. So Dr. Tim, as we get ready to wrap up here, I just wanted to mention that next week, I believe we're going to be visited by Christy Jones, who is this wonderful teacher of mindfulness principles to youth primarily, and she works with even young kids to teach them how to move their bodies in a mindful way and do mindfulness practices that help them plug into an understanding of how their bodies work. I think it's a great adjunct to what we're doing. It's going to be a great conversation. So tune in next week, I believe next Wednesday, for a conversation with Christy Jones. And any final words, Dr. Tim?
Well, I would just say, train the brain.
Lose your pain.
We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks.
Take care, guys.